Well, Tom and Amy, experts say this will be the defining year for drone sales. As you mentioned, 400,000 drone sales expected just this holiday season, and that number expected to jump to 700,000 for the year as a whole. That is 63% higher than this time last year. So with all of the added drones hitting the skies, federal and local governments are stepping in to make sure people are safe.
I'm already worried about
Self.
It's capturing the video from a low altitude that I really enjoy.
Check out the stunning views he captured earlier this year along the lakefront. These are images he says he may not be able to get again thanks to new drone rules.
You can fly one of these things in areas that are absolutely safe, and we've been doing all year, and you can be arrested. That's very concerning.
So what do hobbyists have to do to make sure they fly safe and avoid fines or arrest? Well, first off, before your first flight, you have to head online and register your drone with the FAA if it's between 0.55 pounds and 55. The person registering the drone has to be more than 13 years old and pay a $5 fee, but that fee will be reimbursed if you register by January 20th. Your registration is then valid for 3 years.
That creates an interface between the FAA and the registrant, and it allows us to start to provide some of that education directly to those who are using UAS.
The education provided includes the FAA's rules on where you can fly your drone. You have to keep it under 400 feet and within your eyesight. You can't fly it within 5 miles of an airport or over heavily traveled roadways and government facilities. Now, if you plan to fly your drone in Chicago, there are more rules thanks to a new drone ordinance passed last month.
Our job was really to kind of say, here's a line that you can't cross, and it goes for those rogue operators.
In Chicago, you can't operate a drone from dusk to dawn, over property you don't own, without the owner's consent, or directly over a person without their consent. You also can't fly over a school, schoolyard, hospital, place of worship, or police station without consent. And no first-person view flights, which are flights with goggles. If you break the rules, you could face fines up to $5,000 or jail time. With all the new rules, Antonelli was worried about where to even go in Chicago to show us his drone.
The hesitation now is because of the new Chicago drone ordinance, is that you can be arrested. So that's obviously an immediate concern.
That's why we flew over private property here at WGN with permission. The city says it isn't out to get hobbyists, it just wants to keep people safe.
We're trying to avoid the ticketing issue and trying to make sure that people know those rules, the basics, before they go out there and do it.
Still, Antonelli fears new hobbyists will face hefty fines for unknowingly breaking the rules.
The problem is that if a law is on the books and you have an issue with a Chicago policeman who may or may not understand the law, you can be charged, and it can stand up in court because that's what the law says.
The safest way to fly, understand all the federal and local rules before ever putting your drone in the air so you can enjoy the expanding hobby. And we checked in with the Chicago Park District. It says it's still working on specific drone rules for flying at its parks, but in the meantime, you can fly at Chicago parks. Just keep in mind, if staff ask you to stop because you're creating a safety hazard, you have to stop. So this is all in the Chicago area and the FAA standards. Well, what if you live in the suburbs and other areas? Yeah, there are some suburbs like Schaumburg, for instance, that have specific rules as well. So make sure you head online in whatever area you plan to fly in to make sure you're following their specific rules. And Tom and Amy, all of these rules are for recreational drone users. If you plan to make money as a commercial drone rules, you have more rules to follow. So we have links to all of that information on our website, along with links on to show you how exactly to register your drone the easiest way. So lots of information to take in there. We'll send it back to you guys.
Okay, Sarah Jindra, thank you so much. The traffic